Do you believe that there should be any legal exceptions for rape or incest when it comes to abortion?
I believe that life begins at conception, and that life should be guaranteed under the Constitution. That is a person.
So even in a case of rape or incest, that would be taking a life.
That would be taking a life, and I believe that that any doctor who performs an abortion, that I would advocate that any doctor that performs an abortion should be criminally charged for doing so. I've never supported criminalization of abortion for mothers, but I do for people who perform them. I believe that life is sacred. It's one of those things in the Declaration of Independence. We are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, and the first is life, and I believe that that life should be protected. At the moment, it is a human life, and at conception, it is biologically human, and it's alive, it's a human life, it should be a person under the Constitution.
On occasion, scientists working on the nuclear program in Iran turn up dead. I think that's a wonderful thing.
I'm happy to stand up and talk about why I believe that the exception for rape should not be there.
And if people say, well, you can't go out and assassinate people, well, tell that to al-Awlaki.
In June, you said, quote, I believe that any doctor who performs an abortion should be criminally charged for doing so. You would allow no exceptions for cases of rape and incest. Polls have long shown that large majorities of Americans support at least some exceptions for abortion. Are your views too much even for many conservatives to support?
You know, the Supreme Court of the United States, on a recent case, said that a man who committed rape could not be killed, would not be subject to the death penalty. Yet the child conceived as a result of that rape could be. That to me sounds like a country that doesn't have its morals correct. That child did nothing wrong. To be victimized twice would be a horrible thing. It is an innocent human life. It is genetically human from the moment of conception, and it is a human life. And we in America should be big enough to try to surround ourselves and help women in those terrible situations who've been traumatized already, to put them through another trauma of an abortion. I think is too much to ask, and so I would absolutely stand and say that one, violence is enough.
It became very clear to me that life begins at conception, and persons are covered by the Constitution, and since life is a human life is the same as a person, to me it was a pretty simple deduction to make that that's what the Constitution clearly intended to protect.
On occasion, scientists working on the nuclear program in Iran turn up dead. I think that's a wonderful thing. And if people say, well, you can't go out and assassinate people, well, tell that to al-Awlaki.
But do you really believe, let me ask you this, do you really believe in every case it should be totally wrong? In the sense that, I know that you believe even in cases of rape and incest, but you've got two daughters, if you had a daughter that came to you who'd been raped and was pregnant and was begging you to let her have an abortion, would you really be able to look her in the eye and say no as her father?
I would do what every father would do, is to try to counsel your daughter to do the right thing.
So even in a case of rape or incest, that would be taking a life?
That would be taking a life, and I believe that that any doctor who performs an abortion, that I would advocate that any doctor that performs an abortion should be criminally charged for doing so.
Because if I make her have this baby, isn't it just going to ruin her life?
Well, you can make the argument that if she doesn't have this baby, if she kills her child, that too could ruin her life. And this is not an easy choice. I understand that. As horrible as the way that daughter and son was created, it still is her child. And whether she has that child or she doesn't, it will always be her child, and she will always know that. And so to embrace her and to love her and to support her and get her through this very difficult time, I've always, I believe, and I think, the right approach is to accept this horribly created, in the sense of rape, but nevertheless gift. In a very broken way, but gift of human life, and accept what God is giving to you. As you know, we have to, in lots of different aspects of our life, we have horrible things happen. I can't think of anything more horrible, but nevertheless, we have to make the best out of a bad situation.
How do you equate?
That is making the best.
How do you equate? Because I know that your position, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you just believe in the sanctity of the innocence of life. How do you equate that with supporting the death penalty, given there are so many people who actually are completely innocent?
Yeah, I've supported mandatory DNA testing, and we have to be certain. I mean, if there's...
But we can't be, can we?
Well, you can...
So if you can't be certain, as a commander-in-chief again, as the president, if you can't be certain, and in fact you know for a fact many innocent people are getting killed under this system, and you believe in the innocence of life and the sanctity and protection of life, isn't the right, consistent thing for you to do?
Well,
to say, enough.
Yeah, I would say when there is certainty, then, and there are occasions when there is certainty. When there is certainty, that's the case that capital punishment can be used.
I do not believe that that we have a right in this country, in the Constitution, to take a human life. I don't think our founders envisioned that. I don't think the writing of the Constitution in anywhere enables that.
If there is not certainty, under the law, it shouldn't be used. You know, if you do not have certainty, then capital punishment should not be available, period.
And if people say, well, you can't go out and assassinate people, well, tell that to El-Waki.